So one of my biggest concerns with having a remote PI planning is we miss that personal connection that we have when we're all together in one room. So how do we create the excitement and the engagement with 140 people on their laptops sitting in their own home office?
What we did is that we had a dry run of the entire event. We went over the agenda, all the items in the agenda with the times and explaining where they needed to be, where to find those collaboration tools, where to go at every time.
You're actually home, not just you. It's not people working in India and people working in Chicago. It's people working at home and have families and kids around and everybody's at home. So I think what I've seen from other people and what I would probably recommend next time is think whether we should actually do it over 4 days and relax people's time over the screen so that it's even easier.
Our suggestions in regards to time zones, especially being international, so in a different time zone than America, would be really to have a little bit more overlap of the time zones so that you can really focus on your dependencies during that time. That was I see the biggest challenge, because to sync with all those teams.
A lot of the time, especially when you're all in the room and there's limited time, a few people will ask a question, then we have to move on. But now because people were typing their questions or their comments, it was actually easier for more people to comment or put their questions. And even if we had some time issues and we couldn't have enough time for questions, all those questions were there and it was easy for somebody else to check back in them and answer those questions later. And so it made it so that people would actually communicate more and ask more questions and be more engaged despite being remote. And it was really interesting.
Another piece is the working agreements are always very important, and in the remote PI planning, were even more important. The SM and RTE collaborated and created some suggestions. We socialized them in advance with the teams. These working agreements included several levels of communication inside and outside of the teams with different strategies and how to monitor these communications.
No matter what tooling solution you have to use for your organization, make sure that you have a common home base, that single place where you can all come back to figure out how to find people and how to connect.
And I think the fact that we spent time really thinking about our tools and building tools and even building some contingency and really thinking about how do we have the right support for the tooling as we're running this was instrumental in us being successful in this PI plan.
For our first ever distributed PI planning, I think we overcame obstacles in the moment. We planned ahead of time for what at least we knew we could potentially be overcoming. And we made it through with a great plan, something that we are ready to accomplish in the next PI.
It was similar. I mean, it was the same success and it was very successful. It was just a different way of working through it.
People's ability and willingness to come together to be themselves, to try and make the best out of a really challenging situation, to be their authentic selves and just be human, has been so overwhelming. People are so connected and so willing, and some people that you might not expect may be the ones that will surprise you the most. Rely on your team, rely on your colleagues. Together we'll get through this. As they say, we're all in it together, and I truly believe that together we'll rise above and be better through all of this. Best of luck to you all.